Chelsea Football Club have agreed a 65 million euro deal for Estevao Willian, that prodigy from Brazil, the young up-and-coming wonder kid that is 16 years old, and Chelsea are willing to pay a guarantee of 35 million, 30 million in add-ons, and this is a fantastic deal. A lot of people aren't going to like it because he's 16, because it's an investment for the future, but at this moment in time, this is the way the club is going, and I'm not going to lie to you, I trust our recruitment team. Then a lot of people have to accept the truth that's going to happen. Tomorrow is going to be Conor Gallagher's last game at Stamford Bridge. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see why it's his last game and why I think he's not going to play for Chelsea next year. Mudryk, well, it looks like he doesn't just cause problems on the pitch. It looks like Mudryk is causing problems off the pitch, because certain YouTubers have had a problem with Misha being in a Barcelona kit, and we're going to talk about it. Why was he in a Barcelona kit? Is it a big deal? And as fans, are we just eating up content that shouldn't matter? Personally, I think we do. And finally, Mauricio Pochettino comes out and speaks like a Chelsea manager. And what I mean by that is, a lot of fans are going to say, he gets it. Geezer, he gets it. And you know what? It's actually nice to hear, because what he said in the press conference yesterday, for me, really reaffirmed one thing. He is starting to come to grips with the expectations of the fan base. He's keeping his ethics and he's keeping his morals, but at the same time, he knows where he is and he's starting to sound like it. Let's get into it. Let's break this down. Before we get started, hit that like button and subscribe. I won't be here much longer. I've got 3 more days in Madeira before I head back to England and back onto my sofa with lovely lighting and everything Gucci. So let's get into it. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Chelsea Football Club have been chasing Estevao Willian. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. You already know the deal. I listen to the commentators once they join Chelsea, or if I watch him, and then I repeat the name a few times, then I work on the pronunciation, and I get it on point. However, Estevao is set to join Chelsea because Chelsea have had a 65 million euro bid accepted. A lot of you are going to say, but why is it 65 million euros when the fee is 60 million because of the fact that he has a release clause? Well, Chelsea Football Club have decided to pay a little bit more just for a favourable pattern of payments. They do this quite often purely based on the fact that if it's 60 million euros, you got to go pay all that money up front. If it's 65 million euros, you can agree to split the payments across 3 years, 2 years, whatever, right? So it just benefits the club in the long term, and more importantly, I think 35 million of it is going to be broken down into guaranteed payments, and then the rest will be based on performance basis. So if he's good, you pay the 65 million, nobody blinks an eyelid. If he's bad, you pay 35 million, you took a chance on the next prodigy, on the next big thing, right? So it is what it is. A lot of people are going to have a problem with this, and I'm going to say 2 words that are going to ease a lot of Chelsea minds, right? Joe Shields. Apparently, Joe Shields is the man that is driving this move, and a lot of people now, because they hear it's Joe Shields, are going to be very calm with it. What I want to see is why. The reason I say why is because Joe Shields isn't the sole decision maker, and I think people have got it into their head that he wanted Elise, he wanted Palmer, he wants Lavia, Palmer banged, Elise's banging, and we don't know with Lavia. So at this moment in time, anything he wants, we should give it. I think a lot of the other recruitment team played a role in this as well. Like, we need to be very, respective of the way we judge our managers. Purely based on the fact, for me, it's very important that we're objective. And I say this because we can't just say Win Stanley bad, Stewart bad, Joe Shields good. That's it. We need to be a little bit more, they're a unit, they work in tandem, they agree on who we're going to sign together. So if we're praising one, we got to praise the team. If we're negative about one, you're negative about all of them. Just be objective, and I think that is important. And also, I think they've kind of earned our trust, man. Like I said, we've hit on 60 to 70% of the signings that we signed. A lot of them have kept their value, and a lot of them we've overpaid on, but they're still a great player in there. Like, for example, Enzo Fernandez, we've paid 105 million. However, I think Enzo Fernandez is class, and I think Enzo Fernandez is going to come good, and I think Enzo Fernandez will be one of those players that we're going to look back on in historical times and say, you know what, if we win league titles, Enzo played a big role in it. So we just need to just give it a little bit more time and be respectful, because you can see the talent is there. They're young, they're going to develop that. You don't sign 20 and 21 year olds and get upset that they're not ready to compete tomorrow. Like, that's just the model that we have, and we need to be honest. But Estevao Willian, is set to be joining. This is confirmed by Fabrizio Romano and reports in Brazil that this is the last offer Chelsea are putting in, and it is satisfactory. A lot of people are going to be upset at me because I tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. What people want to hear is Chelsea are going to find a way to keep Conor Gallagher. Chelsea are going to give him a new contract. Conor Gallagher is going to stay. He's going to be proper Chelsea, and he's going to be the one and only captain of Chelsea. I'm here to burst your little bubble because I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I think Conor Gallagher's days at Chelsea are numbered purely based on the fact that Conor's got 12 months left on his contract. Todd Bowley the other day literally said, we give 7-year deals, but it's effectively 5-year deal because we want to maintain the value of the player and we re-sign him if we're moving him on. They don't want to get into a position where there is 12 months to decide whether the player leaves or not. The reason they do that is because they want to sell the player for the highest possible value they can. When they're on 12 months, the player's team gets all of the power. So now what's going to happen is they're nowhere near agreeing a new deal. This is coming from Matt Law. And yet he's getting interest from Aston Villa, Newcastle and Spurs. A lot of people are going to say, why are we selling him internally in the Premier League? The money's here. Europe does not have money at this moment in time. Like, you want to sell him to Italy, loan him for 2 years, they'll give you a fee at the end of it. You want to sell him to Spain, you're not selling him for anything more than 20, 25 million. You sell him within the Premier League, Spurs, Villa, Newcastle, there will be a three-way battle for this player. And this three-way battle will ensure that they are going to be paying in and around about, I don't know, maybe 40 million, 45, 50 if we're lucky. I doubt we will be able to shift him for 50. I think it'll be somewhere in and around 45 with potential add-ons. Is it a shame that he's moving on? Yeah, it is a shame, purely based on the fact that I think Conor Gallagher is a good squad player for Chelsea. I think Conor would have been very good to have in Chelsea for the long term, and someone that knows what it feels like to come through the academy, a rising star, right? So from the academies that makes at the club and is an example for everyone. However, if the board feel like, and the recruitment team feel like, you're not worth the salary you're asking, we're getting great money for you, we're gonna move you on, I'm not gonna cry about it, because I genuinely believe if you can't replace Conor Gallagher, you're not worth your soul as a recruitment team. I don't think he's of the level where he's irreplaceable. I don't think he's Reece James. I don't think he's Levi Colwill. I don't think he's of that level. I think we already have players such as Andre Santos that we should just come in and we shouldn't have to replace Conor Gallagher. He is as good as him, in my opinion. And I think he's better on the ball. He is 19 and he's smashing it right now in France. He's having a very good season. Honestly, he's the one that should be coming back and just replacing his position in the squad. Mikhailo Mudryk has not had the best season, but nor has he had the worst season. I think Misha's season has been fairly inconsistent, and it's what you expect from somebody that hasn't even played 100 career league games for anybody and is 22 years old, right? He is still in the infancy of his career. He's still learning. He's frustrating. 1 minute he does stuff like against Newcastle, where he absolutely zigzags past players like they're not there, slots it in nicely, plays the game like he did against Fulham, scores the goal that he scored the other day against, I think it was Forest, and you're just extremely positive, right? Again, but at the same time, you look at him and you ask for more. However, what I don't like is when people try to create problems when there aren't. And for me, Misha put a picture up on his Instagram, and he's clearly wearing old school, retro Barcelona top. And people are like, oh my God, what is he doing? How dare he? He's a Chelsea employee. Guys, I'm sorry, but this is reaching beyond compare. This is people that don't like him. And this is people where they want to like, oh, I'm more proper Chelsea than you. How dare he wear another kit? I think that's nonsense. I personally would wear an AC Milan top. I would wear a Barcelona top. I would wear a Real Madrid top. I have a Brazil top. I have a Uruguay top. Like, there are so many kits in this world that I would wear, and I'm a Chelsea fan that loves Chelsea. Misha is an employee of Chelsea Football Club. He never grew up saying, I love Chelsea. So the expectation that he wouldn't wear a retro Barcelona top is wild to me. He most probably grew up with his idol being Ronaldinho. Like, do you understand? He grew up in an era where Ronaldinho was smashing it. And when Ronaldinho was smashing it, someone that plays on the left wing, like Misha, who likes to express himself, hold himself on a pitch where he can be free and do tricks and like use his pace. Ronaldinho is the prime example who he most probably mirrored his game over. So for him to have a top that said Ronaldinho Retro Barcelona is not a shock to me and isn't a big deal for anyone to moan on. Anyone moaning about this, You either have too much time on your hand, or more importantly, this is the biggest one of all, you're just looking for a reason to bash the kid. And I think it's bang out of order. The final thing we need to talk about is Maurizio Pochettino yesterday sounding like a proper Chelsea manager. You know, he came into the press conference and they tried to shower him with compliments. They're like, oh, you know what, you've had a very good season, you've turned it around. And Maurizio said, look, yeah, we're having a very good ending to the season. It took time for us to build the foundations. He said, but sixth isn't enough. Like, we're not going to celebrate it here. You're not going to catch us taking pictures and being, oh my God, we're sixth. And for me, that was, wow, okay, you kind of get it now. And then he's like, oh, I'm not here to be sixth. The sporting directors aren't here to be sixth. The recruitment team's not here to be sixth. The owners aren't here to be the sixth. And neither are the players. We need to start planning for more. He goes, well, yes, we're getting praise. Even social media is being nice to us, which made me laugh. But it just highlights that we have come a long way. You know, like, they tried to give him a few pitfalls with kind of a few stupid questions like, oh, are you going to be hoping Spurs loses? And Maurizio, the ethical man that he is, because you know what? I'm going to say one thing about Maurizio Pochettino. Mopo is not changing himself for anyone. And the reason I say that is because there would have been so many managers, third game into the season, kissing the badge. After we won against Manchester United, someone would have kissed the badge. Oh, I love this class. I'm here. You didn't see that from him. He didn't. He pounded his chest. He was shouting. He was part of the team. But you never saw him go over the top. And I think part of the reason is because he respects his old clubs. He respects Southampton. He respects Spurs. He respects Espanyol. He respects PSG. And he says that. And he also clarified that the big message about it's not his team. And it's exactly what I said it was. He doesn't believe it's his team because A, he hasn't been here that long, and he expressed that. He said, I want to be here a considerable period of time before someone can say it's my team. And B, he said he doesn't feel like it's respectful, he's not egotistic enough to say it's my team. It's Chelsea, it's PSG, it's Espanyol, it's Spurs, it's Southampton. And you know what, like, that language barrier is such an issue, yet people consistently tell me I just make excuses. He struggles to communicate in English. He really does. Personally, if I'm Pochettino, I swear, I don't know how Chelsea are going to do this and feel about this, I'm getting an interpreter. Next season, press conferences, all done with an interpreter. Somebody sitting next to me, I put my arm around him, I hear the question, I know what they're saying because I speak English, but I'm answering in Spanish, and he can translate it word for word exactly how I want it. And if he doesn't translate it, then I interfere. Because for me, what frustrates me is a lot of people take him out of context. A lot of people. And for somebody that watches these press conferences, because I have to come here and talk about it, I see it because I see the uproar from big accounts on Twitter. You know, they read the transcript, they read key sections, and they cut out all the other stuff, and they don't give you the full context of it. Like, and it really frustrates me because Poch gives you a lot of reasons to hit him. You know, like, but people will still pick to create something rather than actually criticize them for what they should be criticizing it. But that's just my opinion. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts. Oh yeah, tomorrow for the final game of the season. Straight after the game, I am not going to be here. I'm going to Nacional's final game of the season in the mountains. So for those of you that want to see like some footage from all of that and want to just see what I'm up to on my holiday, in the pinned comment is my Instagram. That's where and I put a lot of stories up so you guys get to see. But I'm going to the mountains, basically to a unique stadium. My boy plays for Nacional, so I'm gonna go watch him play. And more importantly, this is the biggest part, they've just got promoted to the first league in Portugal. So it's gonna be a great atmosphere. Got free tickets, and more importantly, I'm gonna be in the VIP section, so you know, a little bit schmoozy, you know, have a great time. But hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up. Peace out, I'm out, have a lovely day.